So I promised that I would do a video about our journey through infertility to being pregnant, kind of what it's been like. As I said in my first video, my husband and I dealt with 40 months of trying to conceive before we finally got pregnant. And we started trying in October of 2008. There was lots of basal body temperature charting. There was, I lost 35 pounds in the process because, my cycle was a little weird. It was quite long. And so I went to see a nutritionist and lost 35 pounds and it went back to normal. If anyone's in Canada, Simply for Life is a fabulous, fabulous program. It's worth every penny. And so, anyway, I went to them. I have the hiccups and I'm beginning the weirdest times. We, in that time, also had, I had a laparoscopic surgery done to remove a cyst that they'd found during a routine ultrasound. They took the cyst out. It was like 11 centimeters in diameter, so it was quite large. And then they looked for endometriosis and there was none. I didn't have any polycystic ovarian syndrome. My hormone levels were normal. My husband's SA, sperm analysis, poor guy, was totally normal. We tried everything. We tried Clomid for 9 cycles. And then we finally had a referral to the reproductive endocrinologist after we were diagnosed unexplained infertility, which, by the way, is the shittiest diagnosis on the planet. So we got pregnant in January of 2012 after 40 months of trying. And I credit it to, we went paleo. I don't know if anyone knows I'm sure most people have heard of it. It's like the caveman diet or Paleolithic diet, or a really good book, if it's something you're interested in, is The Paleo Solution by Rob Wolf, R-O-B-B, and then wolf, like the animal. Essentially, you eat no dairy, no grain at all. So like no rice, no corn, no barley, no rye, nothing grain. No refined sugar. No chemically derived oils, no legumes, and no sweeteners. So like no aspartame, no sucralose, like nothing. I don't even know if sucralose is a sweetener or if it's like a type of sugar. I don't know. Anyway, it's just a very clean diet. It's a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruit and eggs and meat. And that's about it. We felt fantastic on it. And I had read that occasionally people have fertility issues because they have an unknown intolerance to gluten. So that's kind of why we started. And lo and behold, after 40 months of trying, but only 3 months of paleo, we got pregnant. So that was pretty exciting. Life on this side of infertility is strange. It's very interesting. It's kind of a label that you have, right? It's a label that you create for yourself. It's a very, you feel very sequestered when you have infertility because it's not something that's talked about a lot. The last year I started talking about it quite a bit more, just because, people ask those questions like, when are you having another? Or, your daughter's like 5, you should hurry up. You don't want too big of an age gap, or don't you want more babies, or you don't want an only child, or etc., etc. You have such a big house, you should probably have another kid. And so finally I just started saying, like, yeah, actually we've been trying for like 2 years or 2.5 years or 3 years, and it's just not working. Like, we've been diagnosed with unexplained infertility, and we really hope to have another baby, but who knows? We're really happy with what we have. And when I started saying stuff like that, I would get people saying, like, oh yeah, I had infertility, or my sister had it, or I lost two babies, or we had recurring miscarriages, or my sister's friend's brother, blah blah blah, doesn't make sperm. Like, I, it was really interesting because it seems like almost everyone either has experienced it personally, or experienced pregnancy loss, or they're very close with someone who has. That was interesting, because it isn't really talked about. And I think that it isn't talked about because um, it's very tied to a woman's identity. As much as, you know, people say it's not, it really is. And when women can't conceive or are having difficulty conceiving, I found that it's almost like they're labeled like less, they're broken. And that's really hard. Getting pregnant was weird because I'm a moderator of Trying to Conceive board, co-mod. And I have lots of really good friends who have dealt with infertility. And in a way it was like, thank Christ. Like, thank God I don't have that label anymore. On the other hand, it was like, I'm really sorry that I'm pregnant. Because other people definitely deserve it, and they can't. Or they've not been able to yet. Or they're giving up hope. And it's, it's kind of hard to be like, yay, when they can't. When I got pregnant, it was weird because with our daughter, she was a surprise, really fabulous surprise, but a surprise. And I was 20 and, halfway through a degree, and my husband had just convocated, and we were both like, stupid young adults who spent all our money all the time and really didn't have any responsibility and could stay out late and ate really shitty and, didn't have a house, and we worked in not-for-profit, and we were really ideological. And then we got pregnant, and it was like, oh, my whole life changed, and it changed immediately, and I had to grow up really fast. With this one, got pregnant, and it was like, oh God, like, I have to do it again. I was so focused during infertility on getting pregnant that I don't think I really realized that I would be pregnant. It was just, that was the end for me for a while, was just getting there. And once I got there, now the end is, there's like 18 odd years of child rearing ahead of me, and my daughter's 6 and she's a fabulous kid, but my husband and I were kind of starting to think about the things that we could do with just one, that having two hinders. Like, she would be moved out of the house in roughly 12 years, and I'd be like 41 when she was 20, so she could potentially be moved out of the house when I was like, before I was 40. And more traveling and more vacations and less university, having to pay for that. And so we were kind of, it was hard to not be able to achieve pregnancy, but at the same time we were kind of like, well, if it doesn't happen, it's okay. We have a great kid, we have a great house, we have a fabulous family, and there's other things that we can do. But now it's like, we're going to need 2 RESPs, and so we have to do school all over again. We have to do those years before school all over again. Breastfeeding for, who knows, 18 months. I have to go through labor again. And I am fine with labor because I'm a doula, like, that's my job. I see it quite a bit. And I'm not afraid of it, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to it, but it's sort of like, oh yeah, it hurt. The end result was great, but it hurt, and I don't really remember it, right? Because I kind of forgot. So that's been interesting to be on this side. And yeah, that's sort of our journey. It's been interesting, and it's been fascinating to go through. And I don't know if we'll try to have another one. Originally I wanted 3 kids. Originally I wanted 4 kids, but my husband wanted like 2, so we were gonna sort of compromise and have 3. But now I'm like, I don't want to go through that again. Like, that sucked. Infertility sucks. And it's not something you can predict. You know, anyone can get it. Whether you are overweight or underweight or perfect weight, or you are white or black or brown or yellow or red, or male or female or both, who knows. You know, you can get infertility or deal with infertility or experience it no matter who you are. And that's something I've really learned through this whole thing. You know, it's not just me who is infertile. It was me and my friend who's a doctor, and my friend who's a librarian, and my friend who is a mother to, 2 beautiful babies now. She tried forever, like a decade, and finally had to resort to IVF. And it's, I'll talk about the whole adoption thing another time, but there's a lot of people who are kind of ignorant and are just like, well, why don't you adopt? And they don't realize how difficult it is to do that, especially in the States. In Canada, it's not too bad. In the States, it's crazy. You know, my one friend really wants to have a baby, and she'd be a fabulous mother, and it's looking like she's gonna have to pay $20,000 for a domestic adoption. Crack whores get pregnant for free, and other people don't, and that's people who are really deserving don't, and that's sad, and that's hard to watch. So anyway, that's my infertility thing. And I'm so glad to be done. I'm so sad for the people who are still stuck there, and I really hope that they get out of it soon. So that's it. I hear my kid yelling at the dog downstairs. It's thundering outside, and he gets scared, and there was actually a huge flash of light, like I think the thunder struck either in our backyard or the neighbor's backyard, and the thunder hit like right after, and then all you could hear from the basement was my daughter going, "Aramis, get off! Get off!" So the thunder struck, and he tried to climb in her lap or something, and he's a Newfoundland, so he's like 125 pounds, and very drooly, so the poor thing. Anyway, I will say goodbye and tune in on Monday when I'm going to be doing my 24-week pregnancy update. And then during that one, I'm going to talk a little bit about my choice for a healthcare provider, which is a midwife, and a little bit about doulaing, because I'm going to have a doula there as well, my friend Jen. So anyway, that's it. All right. Bye.